Do you suffer from cocksucker moonface? Studies show that since the rise of crypto, cocksucker moonface has become an epidemic in the crypto space. If you suffer from cocksucker moonface, you may be eligible for compensation. Call now. Looking like you're about to suck cock doesn't have to be a problem anymore. One BTC and 32 ETH.
Welcome back, hard forkers, to 1 Bitcoin and 32 Ethereum, the show where we're reviewing projects, showing you how we're trading, digging into the whole blockchain space, showing you how to pick up free tokens, something we'll be looking at today. We're also going to have a look at staking, courtesy of Mr. Gonzo. He's going to do us a bit of a walkthrough on that front. How are you, boys? How are you, Stefano?
All good, thank you.
Very good. Mr. Gonzo, how are you?
Having a good week, having a good month, having a good year.
Now, somebody that's not having a good time is Ross Ulbricht. He is the guy that started the Silk Road. The movie's just come out. Yeah, so let's have a very quick look at that, people. If you're not familiar with Ross Ulbricht, this is what he did.
I've always wanted to change the world.
How?
Amazon for drugs.
But you can't buy drugs on the internet.
What if you could? Using Bitcoin. I just made 75 grand in the last 90 minutes, babe.
That's 1.2 million a day.
So,
That was my first interaction with Bitcoin.
oh, careful what you say now, sir.
I watched the movie. I paid for it with Bitcoin.
Right.
Wait, is the movie already out?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't know.
So we got another massive influx of people that are thinking Bitcoin is for illicit activities. Just when we had moved on from that, and all of a sudden it's become the plaything of rich people and institutions. No, we're back to.
Yeah, I mean, like we don't want to forget,
fine.
like
It's like morons.
Don't forget your roots, baby.
Morons that believe everything you see in the mainstream media, then they deserve it.
Okay, so I'll put a link below to the guy that's produced this movie. He's just done a talk show with Joe Rogan a couple of days ago. I'll stick a link below to that if you want to check it out. Just a reminder that as is usually the case, having been in production myself for a long time, things do get twisted. I don't think this is particularly going to be that factual. I'm basing that on the fact that he said to Joe Rogan that he's contacted Ross Ulbricht, who is basically in prison for the rest of his life. There's no possibility of parole for this guy. But let's see what this movie brings. But hopefully it doesn't kick off another wave of Bitcoins for drugs. I think we've moved on. Check it out anyway.
Michael Saylor.
Yeah. So
or maybe don't check it out. Actually, just
don't check it out. Is what Stefano says.
Just
move on.
I mean, did you see that other crypto movie? That was dog shit.
Oh wait, that one. It was like that one. I watched that.
We've got our very own Lisa from our Monday Trading Show, very close to getting her movie Coin Runners up and running. So hopefully we see that this year. But yeah, I know.
Is it gonna be about like Bitcoin being used for drugs as well? Because like otherwise, like Lisa can't break the trend. I'm sorry, but like you're making a movie
very anti-drugs. There may be some. Well, I can't say anything. I have read the script, but she'd kill me if I give too much away.
Can't be a really movie if it's not about that.
Okay, I'll let her know for you, Stefano. I'm sure she's watching this. Right, guys. So today we're not actually reviewing any specific projects, but we will touch on ones that we've previously reviewed. Up on your screen now is just a look at the previous projects. All going pretty well, but one that you're going to touch on today, Jordan, is Block Jewelers. So we've got that coming up. That's had some really good price action for us. But first, I just want to let you know that you can support this channel by using the link below to Bybit. If you're an experienced trader, that is. If you're not an experienced trader, there's a testnet on there. You can go on and play around with it without depositing any money, figure out whether it is, in fact, for you. There's also $200 in sign-up bonuses available in the rewards section. So, yeah, if you want to support us, use our link if you are, in fact, using Bybit or any other platform similar to it. We would appreciate that. Okay, so just a quick look at a few other news articles that I wanted to get you guys to comment on. What are we got? What are we
Talk some shit.
Let's talk some shit. Right, so...
Nice
Stefano, as our Ethereum expert, solution to scale Ethereum 100x is imminent and will get us through to ETH 2.0, says Vitalik. If you could comment on this, and also there is a lot of guys that I'm talking to that are a bit worried about what is happening with Ethereum on the 1st of April with the miners. Effectively, it looks like some sort of protest where they're moving a lot of the hash rate into one pool. Can you comment on both of those topics for us, sir?
Sure. Let's put that super simple, and then we go that into details. It seems to me that like news medias and websites are in need of like a little bit of visits and users to like go to their platforms, because like I don't really see that being valuable news in either way. So let's go in order. Like Vitalik mentioning that optimism can actually bring like a 100x scaling. Yes, it's true. Is this like something new? Well, partially. It's like basically means that like they're changing the code on a layer 2. We're already seeing like examples of solutions that are available with that. Loopring has been like doing this for a long time. OMG has been doing this, and they're like moving some of the Tether as well. We've been reviewing and talking about Matic for a long time. Now, in this specific case, what's all of this about is basically just having another tech side, another like model. So basically like bringing L2. Is that really gonna like, change everything and so on? No, we already know the limitations and the problems of layer 2s. You have the bridge part, where you still need to pay gas from layer 1 to layer 2. You still have like the fact that the projects needs to migrate. Now, the good news of all of these things is that it seems that Uniswap, which is basically like the biggest thing in like on layer 1 on Ethereum, with version 3, Uniswap seems to actually be moving and be available both on layer 1 as well as like on layer 2s, like optimisms in that case.
Can I just jump in there? Can I just jump in there quickly on that note? Because I believe MakerDAO and Optimism look to be solving that. Obviously, that 7-day lockup period for coming back out of the layer 2 into a layer 1. Any thoughts on what's happened there with MakerDAO and Optimism? I believe.
Well, the thing is that yes, like the model is improving a little bit on a traditional way, but for the user at the end of the day, you still have the same limitations as of today that you have on using a traditional layer 2. You have a block, like you froze the funds from layer 2 to go back to layer 1. That's good for security because like you might not be able to hack the model. Yep. Why is that the case? Because when you're making a call to actually transfer funds from layer 2 to layer 1, there is a gap in time where the system, the two chains are not synchronized, and it seems that your funds are not really being transferred. So someone might potentially being able to hack something like that. Now, Optimism might froze that and solve that and blah, blah, and so on. That's not the main point of that. Vitalik is obviously talking from a technical point of view, and he's 100% right on doing that because that's his job, that's his role. But if you're looking like the UX on like from the normal and the average Joe, that, the average Joe till yesterday was talking about like Binance Smart Chain, how we don't care about decentralization anymore because, at the end of the day, we care about like little gas fees. And then like still the average Joe went and saying like, oh, Cardano is like Ethereum, but better, even if there are no smart contracts yet. All of those things, the average Joe cannot care less that you're frozen the funds for a little bit and is more secure because the average Joe already told you We don't care about all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it comes down to the user experience. Is MetaMask going, and I'm taking MetaMask as an example, obviously, because it's the most popular wallet, but this conversation, like this point can be made for like anything basically in terms of like UX. But is MetaMask going to like help people not having to insert the RPC in a manual way and so on? They are doing that. They have done that with Matic, for example. Now, if you're joining, like if you're going to Quick Swap, we have done a tutorial on that. That tutorial is already old, because now if you're joining like with your MetaMask on Quick Swap, the system is automatically asking you to insert all the parameters of the RPC. So you're connecting like this.
Oh, really?
No
That's
manual work.
fantastic.
Yeah. And so you know, like all of these little things, the system is evolving. But does that mean that we can expect that like in 2 and 3 month time, we're really going to go like on, you know, 3,000-4,000 transactions per second because of optimism being rolled out? No, that is going to happen only and exclusively when projects are going to be like coming all together and start developing and deploying things for those systems, as we're seeing now happening on Matic. That's the news on that.
Just very quickly as well, Matic launching on Coinbase Pro today, which we saw some huge price movement in it yesterday. Be interesting to see how that plays out today with a lot of new people able to get in there on that platform. Now,
Quiz, Sean, what are the other coins listed? Quick quiz.
There were 2 others, weren't there? Do you want to remind us?
Scale, which is again is a layer 2.
Layer 2. Super hype. Everybody's waiting on that one to go crazy for the Coinbase listing. And then the other one was
Sushi,
yeah. Jesus, Sushi Swap. What the hell? That's a weird one for me. That they would list Sushi Swap.
Sushi has been like completely changed. Like since they started,
Bancor's coming
in a bad way. I mean, Bancor took its time, considering it's like 4 years that it's being around. There is basically like a protest happening from the miners against 1559, where the miners, in theory, should all move into the Ether miner pool and show basically the muscles. It's a flex of muscles where like they should actually migrate the hash rate and the power reaching a 51% into Ether miner, and that should basically like shows how the miner can take over the network and, you know, kind of like creating a 51% attack. Now, this is not going to happen. I mean, like, it's not like a security thing and so on. It's a protest. They really want to show that like the miners still count in the ecosystem, the miners still have powers, and blah 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 and so on, which is true because we're still in POW. I mean, again, is this a news? I'm sorry, but I'm having like some issues on like defining that as like something super important and that people should like being, oh my God, what's going on? Why is this, like, to me at least, like not the most important thing ever? Well, the miners are obviously still important. Can they reach like a 51% power on the 1st of April? Yes, most likely. Why is that? Because 1559 takes away revenue for them. We already say this. We spoke about this in the past. Obviously, if you're taking away money from someone, if I have a job and I'm making totally random numbers, but I'm making like $1,000 a month, and my boss comes along and he's like, I'm taking away 50% of what you make. Would I be happy about that? No. It's like, it's not rocket science to actually like discover that. So obviously I'm going to try to like make sure that my boss is going to understand that that's potentially is a bad thing. Now, on the other side, if this is going to happen, as 1559 has already been decided and it's going to come in summer, that means that like if there is going to be a split because we are in the blockchain and we are in decentralized environments, and this is the beauty of Ethereum for people that says that like we don't care if it's decentralized or not, you can actually have an hard fork. And so there is going to be the 51% on the miner that says 1559 is terrible, we don't want that, which are going to continue on the main chain of Ethereum. And so they're going to have like a nice hash rate and everything. And then there is going to be the minority that support 1559 from the miner's point of view. I define as a minority, not from a user, the ecosystem, the developers, and so on, that are just going to like fork Ethereum, have a new version, and just carry on that version with 1559. Now, what the miners are failing to understand is that if you have the community that goes in one direction, if the developers goes in one direction, if everybody in the entire system goes in that direction and you're going in the opposite one, if nobody's in your direction apart with all the other people with the power because they have like the mining machines and so on, that's not the smartest move ever.
Yeah, well, we've seen proof of that with the hard fork of Bitcoin back in 2017 with BCH and BSV. Neither project are really kicking ass or become the main Bitcoin chain as both of the interested parties there thought it would be. So do you actually really think there could be another contentious hard fork here with Ethereum?
I think it's possible.
Really?
Do I see that happening? No, probably not, to be honest. Again, this is like a show of muscles. This is like for the miners to, I believe at least, like that this is like one of those ways for the miners to be like, hear us out, you know, let's try to get like together to an agreement and so on. And, you know, the two parties are now like, you know, type of like fighting a little bit, like we're going to implement that. No, you're not. Now we're forcing that. Now they're like, oh, you're forcing that. Well, look at us. We're stronger. You know, it's kind of like there is a bit of a mess because it is an important thing. It's like 1559 really changed Ethereum forever. It's a huge thing. And, you know, it's not just like, and people really need to stop of saying that it's going to solve the gas price. It's not going to solve the gas price. But apart from that, it really, really shapes Ethereum in a completely different way. So obviously there is a mess for people that are working there and they're like, you know, ensuring that everything is in place. Do I believe that this is going to end up in a terrible, terrible news? No, because I do not think that people that are being in this space and in this ecosystem for so many years at this point are stupid enough to actually do something like that. So I think that overall they're going to resolve things in a proper way.
Okay. Very good. All right, Mr. Gonzo, I'm going to hand it over to you now. I've sort of identified some information gaps with a lot of people I'm talking to about, you know, they've bought a lot of tokens, especially in the DeFi space, and they're just not really understanding how to actually generate a yield from this. So, you know, a lot of these things are just sitting on Binance. Price might go up, might go down, but they're not maximizing it. And I think of anyone, you are somewhat of an expert in this area. So if you want to give us a bit of a talk through on that topic and also any other coins that you like, what's happening in the NFT space, the floor is yours.
I believe that's called shitcoin-itis. And you get it after you buy your first one and it goes like, you know, 2x. And then you're like, oh, fuck, I got to buy every shitcoin out there. And then all of a sudden you got 50 bags and you have no idea what to do with them all. And then the market turns and then you're holding nothing. No. So, yeah, my big thing lately has been locking in gains and trying to get passive income. This has been the plan pretty much since day one. But it's actually starting to come together now with DeFi and everything else going quite well. So one of my favorites right now is Bancor, BNT, because they've just solved the problem of impermanent loss. So, I mean, we've talked about this a million times. You know, you put half your ETH in and then half your X coin, and then the particular coin takes off. And then you end up holding less of the coin that you actually want. You get more ETH, which is good. But at the same time, you know, you're expecting to hold your favorite coin and it's, you know, it's done way more gains. So you're suffering a loss. But the thing with impermanent loss, you hold long enough, it'll come back. But with Bancor, they've kind of flipped it on its head a bit here. So they've got their major pools, Link, ETH, WBTC, USDC, and they give you rewards back instead of like Uniswap, or you only get a percentage of the fees. All the fees go to the stakers, which is like single-sided liquidity, they're calling it. And that has this thing called impermanent loss protection. And so what that does is you stake, and after 100 days, you receive your whole stake back, protected without any loss, but you have to hold it.
Sorry, did you say 100 days?
100 days, yeah, for the full stake. You can withdraw earlier, right?
Okay, so you're not locked for 3 months.
You can take it out whenever you want.
Okay.
But
can I just ask
you're gonna incur some losses. right?
Can I ask you a dumb question at this point? So look for people that don't understand this, looking down the list here, you've got Link BNT, ETH BNT. So do you have to buy the BNT token before you stake on this platform and match the amount of whatever token you're depositing here? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely not. You just have to find space in one of these pools. So if you have DAI, you go into DAI, and then it'll tell you if there's space in it, and you can pick single-sided or double-sided. They don't even have the double-sided liquidity. Like, you can't put both. Mm-hmm. You can stake both, though. Like, if you have Bancor, I have Bancor, and I'm staking it because the rewards are so crazy high. Mm-hmm. And then I also have Link staked, and I have some ETH, and also, just Link, ETH, and Bancor. So, but if you, for instance, you were talking about Matic, right? They also have a Matic Pool, which is doing quite well. So let's use that as an example. Mm-hmm. Where's our boy Matic? So currently Matic, your rewards, you're getting 83% BNT and 34% Matic in your rewards pool. Mm-hmm. So here, you pick your pool, and then you pick your coin you want Matic, right? So right now there's 27 million Matic available, right? Mm-hmm. So you can put that in. You don't have to put any Bancor in. That just means that you get your rewards back in Matic. If you stake Bancor, you get the rewards back from that pool, mostly in Bancor, but then a certain percentage in Matic.
So how does this work, Jordan? If somebody's bought Matic and it's sitting on Binance and they want to use this Bancor app, what's sort of the process to kick that all off?
It's almost exactly like Uniswap. So
you can move it directly from Binance to where?
Onto your ERC20 wallet, MetaMask, or Trust, or whatever, and then once it's in your wallet, you just connect it the same way you do, right, as your MetaMask. It's not even anything different than MetaMask. Right. Same interface as Uniswap. You just select your coin, stake. You got to pay your gas fees. The gas fees are a bit high for staking, so it's not really for like your $50 or $100. You probably want to be looking at least $1,000 to stake, because the interaction is going to cost about $100, right? With fees and stuff. So it's a bit of a, this for me, it's like a longer term play, and I'm locking in a fair amount of capital. Like Link, I've had Link since it was like $3. So I took a portion and I got some space in there. I'm just going to leave it there until the staking opens up for Link. And then with Bancor, again, it's another, seeing the total value locked in, and it's growing so fast. It's another one where I'm seeing it like Uniswap, like last February, March, right? It's just everybody's jumping in because of the impermanent loss protection. Mm-hmm. So I just see the value going up, and it's only going to make the stakes go crazy. And then your daily stakes, they change depending on the fees and how many people are using it. And that's just going like parabolic. Okay. So another question that, for people that maybe haven't done this before and they are primarily sitting on centralized exchanges like Binance, what are the risks of coming off there, moving into MetaMask, and then staking on a platform like Bancor, or maybe some of the others? You could just throw a few names out as well that are out there. What risk, in your opinion, obviously not financial advice here, people, but what risks are involved? What could go wrong, or do you consider this pretty damn safe? We see this happen quite often, Value had a hack, right? Where their staking pools got drained. You can get exploits in the contracts, in the staking contracts. They can get minted. There's all kinds of things. But the thing with Bancor is the fact that it's not new, right? They've done version 1. They've done version 2. This is version 2.1, I think. So, it's being tested, and it's got a huge team of developers. It's not like a fly-by-night, like, deposit, get 10,000 APY, and then there's a backdoor fucking hacking and stuff. It's been audited. It's completely clean. There's tiers to everything, right? Like, you got your top tier DeFi, Aave, SNX, Link. There's all these other ones that are like, they're established, they're proven, they've got a whole shitload of value locked in, Curve. It's been around a long time, and the technology has been there, but now it's finally hitting the adoption. So it's one of those ones where I think getting in now is, you'll be happy for over the next couple of years if you see any value indexes.
I'm trying to figure out the model, because if that thing would have been possible in the way that is described there, that is seen there, then why nobody else would have done that? Why impermanent loss are always there no matter what? Impermanent loss are there.
It's not a thing that they just came up with yesterday, right? Like they've been working on the solution for like 3-4 years.
Yeah, and it's fair. I'm not saying that that's like not something.
Yeah.
I'm 100% agreeing with you.
I can't answer your question, Stefano. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
I think, like everybody else, we always tell, like, do your own research.
Yeah, that's fair.
I am not the technical brain that you are. I checked my fundamentals, but I do not know technically the equation and why X does this and Y does that.
No, it's fair. It's fair. I was just like curiosity on like what you were explaining that.
So look, on that note, guys,
some people that I know.
I'm going to have a close look at Bank, or we'll probably just touch back on this on the next show. But what other platforms do you guys use for staking that we could have a look at?
I got another super Chad move I just pulled today, if you guys are interested. So, there's all these DeFi apps, right? There's centralized DeFi, right? You got your crypto.com, your Celsius, your Nexo. Celsius is more decentralized, I think, almost though, right? Isn't it? But for sure, Nexo and Crow are like CDFi, right? But so I have a Nexo account. I've been taking profit or just building up that bag for the last 3 years. Just anytime I would dip, I just buy 500 here, 500 there, 500 there. And now I've built up enough equity and a platinum level so that I can get a crypto loan. And you can it takes however many Nexo tokens you have, gives you a percentage instantly in USDC or Tether, right? So I pulled that out, and then I went and bought Yield app, which is also an interest-bearing account, right? With my tier, it's like 5.9% interest on the loan. You go to Yield, you deposit, and that put me into the top tier, which gives me 20% interest for staking on stable coins. So, and I also bought more Yield, which puts me up into another bracket. And that's the one that they're giving for ETH. So I'm going to use this one as my 32 ETH stockpile. So I'm not there yet, but this next 2 months before July, that's my plan, is to get my 32 ETH in this nice app, making 20% returns. And then you also get Yield tokens back. And the really cool thing about this app is you can like flip back and forth between anything in their portfolio for no fees, like instantly, which is like, whoa. So, your Yield is pumping. Okay, you sell into some USDC, and then Yield dumps, and then you flip back into Yield. So you can like automatically, there's a management level inside the management fund that they have. So I'm levering up, guys. It's not major.
Just remind the audience why 32 ETH is important.
Because that's what you need to run a node and to do staking. And now with the deflationary supply coming in, it's going to be even more valuable. So
it's the name of the show, people. One BTC.
The crypto retirement plan.
It was a lot cheaper when we started the show, wasn't it?
I want to add a couple to there, Sean. 1 BTC, 32 E, 1,000 Link, 1,000 DOT. No, I'm serious. Like there's a bunch of other ones.
Some theta.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, let's add all the top 1,000 at this point. Go for it. Like, yeah.
Well, Stefan, I'm going to get Jordan to give us a few of his other tips as well. But every time I ask you what you're getting, you go, "Don't talk to me when you got 32 ETH." So I never get much else out of you than that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Talk to me when you have 1 BTC and 32 ETH. Then let's go. Talk.
By the end of the next 2 months, I'll have 32 ETH.
Sorry, hang on. I'm sort of cutting around a wee bit here. I did want to just get your thoughts, Stefano, really super fast. What other staking platforms do you like and use?
Well, what Jordan has described, I would actually say that it's cool and but it's pretty advanced. Like jumping like between getting a loan on platform A, depositing like the funds that you're getting on another one, like it's like a little bit advanced, like for the type of person that like you were looking at, the guy that like bought on Binance and now is like, what do I do with my life, basically? Well, first of all, sell everything by Ethereum. You don't need anything else. But apart from that, if you want to like follow the conversation, here's the thing. Jordan shows like, for example, on Bancor that the pool Matic BNT gives you like a 17.2% or something like that. If you want to kind of like oversimplifying things, just take those Matic, keep them in layer 1. Remember this, layer 1. You go on the Matic website and you stake Matic there directly, you get a 16%. Yes, it's true. It's not like that extra 1% that comes in BNT and so on, but I think it's like super easy. If you want to like play a little bit with liquidity pool and so on, and you want to do that in a very, very cheap way, because keep in mind the banker is still like on layer 1, you still have the gas involved, you still have like all of those things happening. If, for example, you happen to have a nice bag of Matic on layer 2 this time, remember that, you can just like experimenting with these things. So just go like on a pool, USDC and Aave USDC on QuickSwap, using that pool, which is stable coin with stable coins. So you look and you see what's the fees are. You don't have impermanent loss because obviously, they're both stable coins. Yeah, they're different. One is giving interest, the other one doesn't. But forget about that for a second. You basically don't have impermanent loss. Forget about it. And you're getting the farming from the Quick token, because right now they're doing the farming. So if you miss the farming on Uniswap, you miss the 1 inch farming on the 1 inch platform. Now you can experiment with that. And the risk is overall pretty low, I would say, because, apart from the fact that they got hacked, which can happen, but you're starting experimenting with a lot of other things. What do I do is completely different. Like, I'm not doing this stuff because I want experimenting in other things. But those are, like, in my opinion, lower risk and takes less knowledge to actually start playing around and less money. We saw that a transaction on Matic was less than a cent. Joining a pool on Bancor now, I have no idea today how much it's going to be, but I would assume it's like $20, $30, $40, $50 even. You have your little $500 in the bag of the shit token that you just bought that you have no idea what's the name is. That's 10% of your bag just to join. Like, let's put things in perspective as per usual. But hey, the beauty of the space is exactly that. There is so much available now that you can play around with whatever idea you have. And that's the cool part. Chances are you're going to lose your money, by the way. Just keep that in mind, that you're going to exit all of that with less money than what you start because you have no idea what you're doing. But that's the part of learning. So,
Well, we're making this content to help people avoid that. So, look, if you're confused, I mean, maybe some of this is a little bit technical for some people watching, please comment below the video. We'll
if you're confused, the best thing to do is to start with something that is like actually centralized. Yep. Jordan has mentioned crypto.com and has mentioned Nexo. Take also like Celsius, which is another option that in my personal opinion works better because you can take out the money whenever you want. On crypto.com, you can't do that. The crypto swap,
the new kid on the block, Yield.
Yield is another one Jordan has been mentioning many times as well. That's true. So, start from there. That's the easy thing. Then once you've done that, go on the next level, which is like start the staking on the projects itself. You can do staking on Matic, as we mentioned. You can do staking on Ethereum or Radium.
Our last video on MantraDAO covered exactly this as well, so you can check.
You can start using, we interviewed 2 projects, MantraDAO and Ethereum, that allows you to do staking on their own platforms directly. And that's like, it's kind of like a help type of things into staking, into DeFi and so on. Go step by step. Don't be like in a rush on that. And once you start being like familiar and you're like, okay, I want to take a little bit more risk now, or I want to like experimenting a little bit more and so on, then you start going into Uniswap, 1 inch, Bancor, QuickSwap, like, all of those different things. That's when you really start seeing what it means having a lot of power and firepower and really start seeing like nice returns. Because if you're playing your cards well, it's not impossible to cash in like a 30, a 40, a 50% return a year on these things. But again, you need to know what you're doing or you're going to lose it.
Take your time.
All the exchanges now, they have, all the exchanges have these options too, right? Like Binance and KuCoin and, all the more modern ones, they're all have staking as a service as well, where you can, lock up your 100 coins and the terms are set 30 days and you don't have the ability to go in and out. So they just take your coins and they put them into some other fund or whatever to make some returns. And then they pay you out more at the end of your set term, 30, 90, 60 days, whatever, right? So there's levels to it, right?
Okay. Very good. It is a bit of a technical subject, guys. That's why we make so many videos covering it. I'll put some links below to, especially the one we did last time. That's a very basic look at how to stake on Mantra DAO.
I made like 12 coins since
Mr.
then.
Bonzo, back to you. Sorry to interrupt you. Let's have a look at Block Jewelers. And anything else you like?
As far as trading stuff,
Just projects you're looking at that you think the audience might want to know about. Not financial advice, people. It's just us talking about what we're doing here.
I'm at NFT crazy right now. So Block Duelers, they had a nice little pump here. Actually, it's been going crazy.
Sure has.
The thing with it is the super low supply, right? And the platform is getting ready. They're going to launch at the end of March, right? So it touched 250 per coin, which is crazy. And the reason is because they're starting to move into marketing now, getting the platform ready, and they've got a bunch more partnerships, right? And one of the things that they're doing is they've got this nice little real NFT. So they took some of my artwork here, printed it up, nice cardstock, some little foils and glows in there, and then they do this plastic what's it called? Plexiglass case. And inside the plexiglass case is an RFID chip that connects. So it actually is connected to the NFT token. So your wallet is connected to the physical object, right? So there's that kind of a bit of a debate going on in NFTs right now. Like, they burnt that real Banksy so they could create the digital one. So now it's going to go back, I think, to where actual physical items with a digital NFT, those are going to be like God tier, right? So there was only one of a kind printed and one of a kind digital. So that's I don't know. That's one of the innovations that they're coming up with right now. So these guys, they've presented this card later on will be able to use on the platform where you can battle other NFTs. So our friend Garrett over at Block Duelers, he's going to hook us up with from the sounds of it, one to give away and maybe one for us, which would be kind of sweet. Hey guys, get some real NFTs. So this is one thing I'm anticipating coming up. But the other big story right now going on in NFTs is Beeple, he was a digital artist, and he's been doing this thing, one image a day for 5,000 days. And so now the first 5,000 days are being sold on Christie's online auctions. And Christie's, they usually only do traditional art, like physical pieces. This is their first digital piece. So this is our man Beeple, so he's getting a whole lot of hype right now. Sorry, the stupid screen share button is always covering the tabs. So this auction closes tomorrow. And the last time I looked, like half an hour ago, the top offer was $13.5 million.
Wow. You got a blank screen there, by the way.
I know, it's loading. My unstable connection. So this thing, it's like 21,000 pixels by 21,000 pixels. So it's got like every piece of art that he's done in 5,000 days, all like really small, but you can like mega zoom in on it. Yeah. So the current bid, $13,000 or $13.25 million. Is
that you, Stefano?
Yeah. Stefano flexing his people.
Just flexing my 32 ETH, my multiple 32 ETH. No, I wish. That's one of the few things that like we spoke about this also in private, how skeptical I am on a lot of the valuation that I'm seeing. But on this specific one, just one thing, realize that 5,000 unique pieces, it means that the guy has spent like 13 years to actually pull this together.
This is actually,
just think about that for a second. Like when you're like, saying like, this is crazy and so on. There are NFTs that like takes like 5 seconds and they're clearly like, people are absolutely going to lose their money and so on. But the guy has like spent his entire life basically working on this, developing cool innovation things, trying to elevate the NFT levels and like the artistic of digital art level. and has put a bet on his entire life for that. That now, just now, after 13 years, is like paying off, like well deserved on something like that, because it's amazing.
Okay. Any other sort of shout outs of other projects you think people should have a look at in the NFT space,
Sean.
guys?
This is connected to it. This is kind of how you can kind of get a piece of the pie. It's almost like an NFT index fund or an ETF. It's called B20. And so this is, Beeple's involved in this, and they're taking a bunch of his art and they're making a bunch of museums in Crypto Voxels, Decentraland, and Summit space. And they're showing all this art and selling it and stuff. So you can be a part of this index fund just by buying on Uniswap. So this is another one that's going a bit crazy because of the fact that it's connected to this Christie auction. You know, like everybody's like, you know, the Beeple hype is totally rising.
Sorry, what's that token called, Jordan? B20.
B20.
Okay, and that's, you can get that on Uniswap.
Yep. And then, so, you know, it's got the Beeple's part of it, and then there's a bunch of other like art incubators and all kinds of stuff here. Tons of media on it. So this is a project that, you know, I don't have any actual Beeple art, but I think this is a good way to kind of get involved with it and ride the waves. So I was stoked here. I got in at 9 a couple days ago, and then it just did this little thing, and I'm like, okay, I doubled down, and it's just kept going. It's like low supply, hype building. It's another good little thing to look at if you want to get into some NFTs without, you know, the pure like speculation, and you're not quite a collector and you don't know what to buy. This is a bit of a way to, I think, to ride it. So
cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that.
That'll be big news when it sells that thing.
Yeah, so just to round the show out, guys, any other projects that you think the audience might want to have a look at and why? Maybe Stefano, you want to suggest anything that you're that's taking your fancy right now?
32.
Well, apart from 32 ETH, which it's still the same. If you don't have 32 ETH, like focus on that. Like don't play a game if you don't have like the shorts and the t-shirt for that, and the shoes, the sneakers. But apart from that, no, what I'm doing now is kind of like experimenting as per usual. So I'm spending a lot of time in F1 Delta Time. So the REV token, the REVV token, they had like a sales of like the track pieces, which went like sold out in immediately, and that was very interesting. And now they're like developing the Moto GP, like for the motorbike games and so on. So basically, like this company is like getting licenses for the Formula One, the Formula E, the Moto GP, the motorbikes, and so on. Official licenses and developing all of these games. So I'm spending a lot of times there. It's still very far from actually being complete as a dynamic, but it might actually play out to be very, very good. Spending a tons of time on ENJ, been mentioning this for like quite some time, and ENJ has been like going on an amazing run. So I'm still holding on that. I'm still very happy with that.
Hundreds of percent in the last week or two.
Yeah, well, because they announced that like on the 6th of April, they're going to launch their layer 2, which is super good for the games. Like, to give you an idea of this, again, why is important to look at the data, and I don't do technical analysis. Decentraland, the token is Mana, super nice projects and everything. The valuation is like what, 850 market cap, like it's almost $1 billion. But if you're looking at the number of like usage and the users that are like in the game, normally we're like kind of having like a couple of thousands max, probably like it's less, it's like few hundreds here and there on online users, okay? But if we're looking at like Engine that has like a 1.6 billion market cap, so it's almost double in market cap, but one single game of that entire network, which is Lost Relic, that game alone counts for 600 online players normally on average, one single game, and they have like 10 or 12 of those games. So, you know, that gives you like an idea of what I personally believe. Now, a lot of people might actually disagree on that, you know, like the future is different, it shows you potential, blah, blah, and so on. But in numbers wise right now, one shows you like what it means having a good growth, and Axie has been always the perfect example for that. When you have the community, when you have the numbers, the token will skyrocket. Would that remain at that level? Would that going up or not, and so on? But that's the reason why I'm like very positive on me and Jay, what they're doing and all of those stuff. Another thing that I'm doing, and that's like a lot of fun. It's not a big return or anything, but if you have a chance, go into the queue of NBA Drop Shot, because that's been like absolutely amazing. You spend like $10, $14, $15 for a little pack, and then like you resell that for $500, $600 after that. You don't make like those crazy, like, you know, 10,000, 50,000 return. Like you can if you do speculation and so on, but that's too high risk. But I find that very, very fascinating that just by flipping like loop videos, basically clips, you can make like hundreds of dollars. And you
how much money have you, how many times have you done that, and how much have you made recently?
I've done it like a couple of times. The latest one is like this week from the latest drop that I got. I bought that for $14 and I sold that all the 3 moments for $700. It's not a lot of money. Don't take me wrong. It doesn't change your life, but it's fun. Like, to be honest, I'm having a lot of fun on doing that. It's like, it's per chain that like you can spend around on like testing other stuff and so on. So that's a very funny thing to do. And let's be honest, $14 is not a high risk. It's one of those things that like I mention all the time, get this like $5, $10, $50 a month to like testing out stuff and so on. The other one, I've been like farming 9 Chronicles gold, and it's been like absolutely amazing. I'm almost a whale over there at this point, but like, yeah, that's a South Korean game. You can only farm that, and it's been like absolutely fantastic. I'm looking into Gala. I've been looking into Gala to get a node over there for a long time, but now they're going for like $7,000. So I'm still like holding on that. And the latest thing that I'm doing was the pre-sale on Aavegotchi for the portals. And even that, again, that shows you how important it is to be early on things like this. So during the pre-sale, I bought a portal on Aavegotchi for 100 Ghost. Look at the price up. It doesn't really matter on that. But I flipped that 10 minutes after for 2,000 Ghost. So it's a 20x on 10 minutes time. And that's what it means, like being early and be at the right time on specific projects. Tons of people are like doing research of like, you know, 20,000 projects doing technical analysis. Now, no issue whatsoever to people that are doing technical analysis. If that is your bread and butter, go for it. But understand that like when you're doing a lot of research and you find like that thing to do, and then you go it's a matter of 5-10 minutes to actually make money. It's not something that like, you know, you need to do crazy things and so on. And that's like if you want to have like nice return. And then what you do, you take your money, you take your profits, you don't really care about the project. Let's be honest, you're there for the money in majority of cases. And then you take your profits, you put that into a project that you believe in, for example, getting 32 ETH, and then like start, you know, staking on that, getting extra return. Jordan mentioned that the passive income thing, like even if you're like making that like $700 an NBA drop shot, and then you convert them in USDC and you put that USDC into Celsius and you bring home a 10.5% return a year, it's not bad. Like, start thinking about that it's true that we're reading all of these things. So people making like millions of dollars in X, in Epsilon, and so on. But even if you're doing a little here and a little there, and you're bringing home like those $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a week, it's not bad. Like, it's really not bad.
But anything else on your radar that people might be able to get into early on, as you say?
Well, right now there is like, I'm looking into this game that is done by the South Korean company, which is the one that is like in partner with Rev F1 Delta Time and so on. And it's called, let me give you the name, because it's a mobile game. They're gonna have like a play to earn thing now. It's called Crazy Defense Heroes. So that's one of the things that I'm looking into. They didn't announce yet the play to earn, and that's like has some mechanics that could be very interesting. The other things in terms of like you know, potential pre-sales and things like that, a little bit more high risk. So I didn't make decision if I'm gonna jump on that yet or not. But if you want to do like some research on your own, there is Ember's Ward, which
you're gonna have to. How do you spell that?
EMBER Zord, SWORD.
Embersword. Okay.
And then there is
if anybody's
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, and then the other one is Miranda's, which is done by the Gala company, basically. The Gala Games.
Okay, there you go. Go check it out, people. Some good info there. Jordan, how about yourself? Any little hidden gems or things that people might want to be aware of to sneak in early, as Stefano says?
Well, there's a couple of projects, that we're involved with that we've reviewed. Our boys over at Mod, they, staking is imminent. Son of a... Cut out again? Am I back? Hello?
Yep, you're back.
So the word on the street is the staking for Mod is coming through, and that should be pretty good. So if you haven't really checked into Mod, even though we've covered it quite a bit, I would say it's a good time. The token price is down a bit now. I mean, it's still way up from the pre-sale, but it's in accumulation. Those are the best times to buy before big news. And then more tokens get locked up, and then it gets more hype. And then you're like, woohoo, remember when I bought this bag for 5x what it is now? And then you're like, I'm just going to hold this forever.
Not financial advice, people, but yeah, check it out. Check it out. There's actually a couple of videos on that project as well. I'll put the links below. Cool. Anything else, Jordan, before we go?
I mean, there's this one game, Stefano was talking about, the NFT games. The one that's in the news, well, not in the news, but in the charts right now is Chromia, right? CHR has gone insane the last couple of days, and they build blockchain games. The first one is called Minds and Darnia, and that, it's doing okay. People play it, but it's not kind of got that mainstream adoption. But the new one that they're introducing is called Alice, and they're partnered again with Binance. And so they've opened up staking for that. And then they're doing an IEO, I think. So, but that game, it's kind of like, you build your family in your house and you buy a little piece of land. You got avatars in a marketplace, staking, revenue sharing, all this kind of stuff. So, if you're into gaming, and the game, for me, the reason it caught my attention was it looked really cool. It doesn't look like, some of the crypto games, the art is kind of like B-level, This looks like an actual legit game with some really nice art, and it's got like the, like your Sims, you build your house and you get your friends, you work a job, and there's an economy built in, right? And for, I think, games with passive income and play to earn, that's the way it's going to go. Not necessarily just your play one game and battle and win. It's going to be more like, you check in, like my wife, my kid, all the type of people I know, everybody, they all play these you just check your farm, half an hour a day, you're on lunch, check it again. It's not like these intense playing sessions. It's more like passive playing. So these are the kind of games I think.
Just quickly on that note, Jordan, what are you, for both of you actually, what are your thoughts? I mean, for me personally, I obviously think, investing in things that you do know, like, and understand. Obviously, we've talked about a lot of games here. Any thoughts just to round off on someone simply just not a gamer, looking into these things? Is there another level of complexity there, or would you say that this is fairly straightforward for someone that has no interest in gaming but is approaching this purely as an investment? Or would you say maybe just stay away from that sector of what's happening in blockchain if you're not a gamer? Thoughts on that?
Well, if you're speculating, it's just speculating, right? Like, you can invest in like a neurosurgery company without knowing neurosurgery.
To really understand, because there's so much happening in the space at the moment. I guess I'm asking, if you're not a gamer, do you think playing around in that whole gaming sector of blockchain?
Because if you're not a gamer, but you put your money into crypto, you're an investor, so you understand how to invest, right? Like, it's the same thing. Come on. Or like, you're looking at a chart and you believe that you know technical analysis, and so that makes that less problematic.
It's all part of your due diligence, right? Like, I can invest in like I said, brain surgery, but like some crazy medicine, I don't need to know it. But if I've looked into the company and the situation surrounding it, and I feel confident enough that I can buy it, that the product is going to do well, then, You don't necessarily have to be a good gamer to invest in gaming companies. Like, just keep your eyes open and
I guess I'm saying more understanding the fundamentals, which is something Stefano just spoke about there. Really digging into how many players are coming in here, what's happening in that ecosystem.
But the point on that is that, like, no matter what, in anything, you need to study. Like, nobody. So there are a few things. One, nobody is born knowing everything. You sit down, you do your research, and you study. When we're saying, like, do your own research, it's not like, obviously, yes, it's also because, like, you have to, like, be careful on what you're doing with your money. It's not like, that we're giving, like, any advice or anything. It's your own where you put your money. But on the other side is also the fact that, like, dude, you need to study. If you don't study and you're remaining, like, ignorant, and you're just, like, being there, like, I have $1,000, let me throw that around and so on, you're gonna lose them. They get it through your head. You're just gonna lose that. Go to the casino, throw, like, on a number that you like, and it's the same equivalent thing. That's what it's gonna happen.
Yeah. How about Twitter due diligence? Search Twitter, hashtag BDP. Oh, there's 10 people calling for the moon. Oh, bye. I just did my due diligence. That's fundamental analysis, right? I searched it on Twitter. I found they have a website.
Well, the majority of people, Jordan, that's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the reason
why
in the
gaming sector,
market.
But I want to speculate on shitcoins, right?
And that's why in the market, 99% of the people, or I think it is like the number should be 97%, if I'm not mistaken. 97% lose the money, 3% make the money. Chances are that you're gonna be in the 97, and a very nice chance is that you are part of the 97, and you don't even realize that, because again, we spoke about this, but you don't even know, like, how your alpha. You think that your alpha is performing good, and in reality, it's terrible compared to other stuff. But apart from that, you need to study. There is no easy cut around this. There is no easy way to make money. There is nothing about picking a good project that is easy. It's tons of hours spent, spitting blood, tears down, making mistakes, losing money, because that is going to happen. And then, yes, once you've done all of that, you also got your wins point. And that's what makes you happy and keep you running. If you don't understand gaming, study that. If you don't understand social media and you want to, like, buy into social media cryptos and so on, study that. If you don't understand art, study that and then buy into NFTs. If you don't understand, like, collectibles, study that and then buy into that.
Supply chain, whatever,
that's
like
the thing.
Any sector, you just got to find your sector. That's been a bit of my approach, is like, okay, there's all these different sectors that cryptos are getting into. And then in every sector, there's, like, 3 or 4 leading projects for each sector. That's a good way to start. Instead of going, okay, there's like 5,000 cryptos. It's like, find a sector that you know of traditionally that you want to invest in, and then you can dial in your focus. Like, okay, I know a bit about supply chain. I've worked in it or whatever. I understand the concept and why crypto would be a good solution for this. And then you dig deep and you see what companies are doing, how they're progressing the technology, some milestones that are coming up, if there's anybody using it, right? How the token is doing, how the community is, right? So just starting basically like that, instead of just trying to, like, you start looking at the charts and you see all this stuff that's, like, up 75 to 80%, 100%, and you're like, oh, this is the hot topic, I'm going to buy this, which if you're coming that late, don't bother.
Just buy Ethereum. Don't worry about that. You don't have to study in that point. Just get 32 ETH. No need to do anything else. No studying, no art tier, no lost money, nothing. Just 32 ETH. That's it.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people will look back on that advice, Stefano, and go, I should have listened to that guy.
Oh, come on. The point is, like, is that the thing is that, like, don't, and I say that many times. If you're
I'll just throw this in there on that note. Actually, I interviewed
get also 1 Bitcoin and 100 link.
Yeah, 100%. 1 Bitcoin, 32 ETH. I interviewed J.R. Willett, the guy who's sort of credited with inventing ICOs, and asked him, what projects he liked, and he basically just said exactly what you've said there. If all this other stuff works, then of course Ethereum's going to skyrocket. So why not just own Ethereum? There is absolutely that argument.
Yeah. So, if you like the space, now we don't have an index fund yet. Hopefully, one point is gonna happen. There is gonna be a public index fund that like you buy that and so on. Right now, we just have like ETFs and on Bitcoin and so on. But assuming that like you don't know what to do, either you got the best one, the one that is in all the news and everything, which is Bitcoin, or you got the one that is literally being used by majority of the projects in the space, which, let me tell you, is not Cardano and is not Binance Smart Chain. It's Ethereum. End of the point on that. Then after that, you want to like play around, do whatever you want. But if you like the industry, if you don't know anything, you just like and believe the blockchain is going to be in every house and blah blah and so on, those are the two places. Start studying from there. That's the entry of the rabbit hole, I would say.
Yeah, very good.
Stefano, I got a question for you.
Tell me.
Stefano, one question here, quick.
Yes.
Andre Cronje, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's gone on the record and they started building on Phantom. What do you think of that?
Potential. Like, yeah, it's the same thing of like I saw that.
Sorry, who is
layer two
Andre?
bets. The godfather of DeFi, man. He made Yearn and Keeper and like so many different crazy DeFi projects. Like the guy just a mad coder, puts the shit out there. He doesn't test it. He tests in production. So he's, a lot of people lost some money with him because he kind of works in progress, but he's basically considered one of the best programmers for DeFi, and he's innovating a lot. And so he's come out and said that he's building on Phantom as well. So that, if you've seen Phantom in the last couple of weeks, it's just gone.
Yeah,
no, and
it's the market.
And it makes sense. Like, I saw that there is like even I think I saw that yesterday. I'm not 100% sure, but if I'm not mistaken, like Celsius is moving to Cardano now. So there are like a lot of projects that are like start looking at other things and so on, and it's good. It has to happen. Let's be honest. Like, and we say that for many times. Jokes aside, like developing on Ethereum in the past, and it's still like, it's not that it's changed this thing in any possible way, cost tons of money. Projects cannot be sustainable in this situation. How many times did I mention that we are migrating on XDAI because it's impossible for us to stay on layer one because it's too expensive? This is a good thing for the industry. Competition is good. It has to be a cold shower for everybody in the core team at Ethereum that decentralization is super important, but you also need to speed up. When you don't have anybody around you pushing you for innovation, you go slow. When you start having like everybody start leaving, not everybody, but like a lot of people leaving, new projects coming in, everybody taking like different points and so on, your selling point, which is you're super decentralized and secure, might not be the best thing anymore. Now, it is super important, don't take me wrong, in the long run that it's going to like play out in a specific way because it's essential. But at this specific moment in history on the industry is a completely different thing. I'm all for competition. I hope that Cardano is going to pull up the smart contracts because then I really want to see the competition coming in at that point. I hope that Binance is going to stop having copycats of the same thing that we've seen on Tron and on Ethereum and start having real projects that are unique going over there. I really hope that we're starting seeing that because then we can start having like, that is the chain that you can do X, Epsilon, Z. That's the chain that you can do the other thing and so on. And it's good for the industry. Competition is always good. But right now, we're just like tipping toe. Matic has like what, 80 projects or something like that. And it's like skyrocketing in values. ENJ has like 12 projects, I think, or something like that. And it's skyrocketing in values. Binance Smart Chain has fake numbers of the number of users. And it's like 40 billions or whatever. Cardano doesn't even have the smart contracts yet, and it's 30 billions. Like, it's good, but we're gonna see a very, very different scenario in 12 months from now. Let's look at what was the market 12 months ago. Just saying that.
How will the market look in 12 months, Stefano?
Well, if just buy Ethereum, obviously 32 ETH, and that's it. Done. End the story.
Okay. On that note, thank you for watching, everybody. 1 BTC and 32 Ethereum. We will be back very soon. We're also going to be doing a live show so we can take some of your questions on what for many of you are quite complex topics today. So we'll let you know when that's happening. And Mr. Gonzo, we're going to be giving away the Block Jewelers prize on that live show.
I don't think that'll be yet. I think that's still a couple of weeks away. But we've got some dye we're supposed to give away, right?
Yeah, no, it'll be some Mantra DAO, and we've got some other really interesting projects coming up that we're going to be reviewing. So I'll announce those in the next couple of days. There'll also be a portion of those tokens in the giveaway. So yeah, thanks very much for your time today, guys. I think you've imparted some very valuable information for the audience there. Any questions, people? Stick them below. We've also got a Discord that we are really starting to engage with people a bit more. So jump on in there as well. Have a chat with us. We're here to help. Thanks very much, guys. See you all soon.
1 BTC and 32 ETH.